Part 58. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 571. The assistant director was stunned. Before he could react, the call was already connected. Sci-fi turned on the speakerphone, and a young voice came from the receiver. "It's Miss Si. Do you need my help with anything?" Raphael said lazily. "I have invested in all the movies and TV series you are going to make." Sci-fi was not polite to him and said, "I need to borrow your principality's nuclear submarine for filming. Do we need anything else?" The last words were said to the assistant director. The assistant director naturally understood English, and he said in confusion, "Huh? We still need some ships, because it is a sea scene." Sci-fi translated his words to Raphael. "No problem," Raphael said happily. "Do you want a torpedo?" "Oh, I just took a look. They have also developed a new type of anti-submarine rocket, which is more powerful." "That's right. If you want to film at sea, wouldn't it be enough just to have a nuclear submarine? Can I also equip you with cruisers, frigates, and mine countermeasures ships?" The assistant director was confused. Sci-fi took a deep breath and said slowly, "We are just filming, not to sink the Western continent." Oh, Raphael was quite regretful. He sighed, "I have studied geography, and actually the Western continent is very unstable. You see, the current climate is so bad. When global warming, crustal movement, and volcanoes erupt, it will sink sooner or later. It won't matter if it explodes. But you can tell me before you blow it up, and I will transport the people on land away first." The assistant director covered his heart and was about to faint. He thought to himself, "Oh my God, it's a good thing this is just filming. If Teacher Si had other plans, could Duke Miston really plan to do this? This understatement is more terrifying than T-18 and Zero capture criminal gangs. The Duke of Miston is the biggest danger to the Principality of Miston." Fortunately, Duke Miston did not ascend the throne. If he did, would the entire principality not be harmed by him? Sci-fi had an expressionless face. "Your Highness, please be normal." "I'm sorry, I was influenced by my little sister's style," Raphael said in a good-natured manner. "The nuclear submarine will be delivered to you. It doesn't matter if you don't return it. There are plenty of them. He doesn't need it anyway. At worst he can go to the Intercontinental Research Institute and buy a few more." Sci-fi. She smiles. That's not her style. In the entire division, she is the only one with the best temper. At least she will be polite before fighting. No one else knows how to write the word ritual. "Send the nuclear submarine to the Arctic waters." Sci-fi smiled coldly. "You don't have to come, just get as far away as you can." She didn't give Laulu a chance to speak and hung up the phone. Raphael. Why was he expelled even though he clearly followed her? Raphael didn't understand very much. He touched his head and asked his personal servant to go to the Royal Academy of Engineering in the Principality of Miston to transfer a nuclear submarine to the Arctic waters. Here, after Chu Lingyun cursed for another 10 minutes, he finally finished. He was still angry. "The royal family can't even think of sending people to my movie. They really think I have to be them. The Principality of Miston is a major industrial country, so Chu Lingyun chose to borrow a nuclear submarine from the Principality of Miston for filming because of his cautious attitude." Chu Lingyun turned his head, and when he saw Sci-fi, his face changed in a second, and he smiled. "Here you are, here is the script, you read it first. Let's take our time, don't rush, work slowly and carefully." Sci-fi took it and went to read the script under the umbrella. "Go and contact the Principality of Karu," Chu Lingyun said to the assistant director. "Ask them to borrow props." The assistant director still hadn't come to his senses. He was in a daze and stammered, "Chu, director, Mr. Si has borrowed the nuclear submarine." He didn't dare to say that Si fucking almost borrowed an entire army from the Principality of Miston. Chu Lingyun was startled, almost suspecting that he heard wrongly. What did you say? Really, really, the assistant director wiped his sweat. Just now, Miss Si had a phone call with Duke Miston. I think even if Miss Si asks for the Duke of Miston, he will give it to him. Chu Lingyun's tone changed. Duke Miston. Everyone knows that the real ruler of the Principality of Miston is the Duke, but he thought it was troublesome, so he passed the throne to his younger brother. But for all major matters, the king also needs to consult him. He was still negotiating with other members of the royal family, so why did Si fucking directly take over the royal family's home? Chu Lingyun fell silent. Then after Miss Si finishes reciting her lines, we will prepare to start filming the first scene. Before the assistant director responded, Si fucking raised his hand. I've already memorized the first act, so just start right away. As soon as these words came out, the crew couldn't help but be surprised. How long did it take for Si fucking to get the script? Could she actually have a photographic memory? After Chu Lingyun was shocked, he nodded and said, okay, let's start. The makeup artist and stylist will take teacher Si to change into costumes. After Si fucking entered the dressing room, Chu Lingyun hammered his heart and drank a large bottle of water, but he still felt that his heart could not bear it. He has worked with too many talented actors, but he has never met anyone who can memorize lines as fast as Si fucking, and Yun Lan is even worse. Director Chu, would you like to take a pill? Seeing this, Sang Yanking stepped forward with great concern. This is an improved version of the Suxiaojuxin pill, which is very good for the heart. Chu Lingyun hesitated for a moment, then took the pill and swallowed it. My heart really felt better. Sang Yanking did not forget to promote, Director, do you want to buy a bottle to protect yourself? Chu Lingyun, 3 bottles. After Sang Yanking sold 3 bottles of SISI brand Suxiaojuxin pills, he transferred the money to Si fucking. She helped her artist earn extra money, so her artist must be very happy. At the same time, Nanzhou, the Feng family mansion. The guards came in and out, looking hurried. Feng Ziyi was constantly searching for all information about Si fucking on the computer. To her great disappointment, no black material could be found at all. But in the entertainment industry, where can there be clean people? It's going to be a sacrifice to the sea soon. Mrs. Feng came in with a plate of fruit. Ziyi, it's your turn to resist the banner this time. Take a good rest these days. Sacrifice to the sea is a large-scale ceremony held by the Feng family every year to pay homage to the dead on the sea, the hundreds of thousands of soldiers who died here. In this way, the Feng family tells every generation that history cannot be forgotten. Mrs. Feng doesn't like this ritual. In her opinion, it is unnecessary and consumes unnecessary manpower and material resources. But there is no way, all Feng family members have to participate. Feng Ziyi was still staring at the computer without looking away. Mom, I know. You don't have to worry too much about that little star. Mrs. Feng nodded with satisfaction. You have more important things to prepare for. After the sacrifice to the sea, you will run for the family's heir. I mean, you must give Mom strives for success. Feng Ziyi was a little irritable. She didn't want to pay attention to Si fucking, but she really couldn't swallow that breath. Si fucking has almost become a demon in her heart, and she has to get rid of it. There was a knock on the door at this moment. Feng Ziyi didn't raise his head. Come in. The guard opened the door and said respectfully, Miss Ziyi, the great elder summons everyone to the hall. Feng Ziyi immediately put down his pen and went out with Mrs. Feng. In the hall, all direct members of the Feng family gathered. The eldest elder of the Feng family was beaming with joy, and everyone could feel his joy. Everyone looked at each other and couldn't help but feel a little confused. Is there something big and happy about to happen? There are big figures coming to the sea sacrifice this time, so you must not let your guard down. The eldest elder of the Feng family looked serious and warned one by one, there is no need to show off deliberately, just show your truest self. He must show His Majesty that after 1,000 years, the Feng family is still worthy of the loyalty of their ancestors and worthy of the teachings of their ancestors. Upon hearing this, everyone's expressions became solemn and they nodded solemnly. Feng Ziyi was a little surprised. In previous years, many people were invited to the Hai Feng family festival, including the Mahist family, Thousand Army Alliance, Divine Doctor Alliance, etc. The last time the Mo family head and elders all came to Nanzhou, they didn't ask the chief elder to summon everyone together to explain important matters. What other level of big shot could he be? Could it be Free Continent? Feng Ziyi pursed her lower lip and asked the young man beside her, "Do you have any news?" The young man said calmly, "Didn't you hear the great elder say that you just need to behave as usual?" Feng Ziyi was speechless. Of course she knew, but she also had to prepare in advance. What should I do if I bump into the big shot the great elder calls him? What else did Feng Ziyi want to ask? The young man had already left, and she looked a little ugly. Although the news of her dismissal from T18 has not spread, she has been staying in the Feng family these days, and any astute person can guess it. Feng Ziyi clenched his fingers, feeling very unwilling. She shook her head, thinking that she must perform well in the sea sacrifice ceremony. If she could get the favor of the big man, she might be able to enter the Free Continent. On the other side, the eldest elder of the Feng family was contacting Yu Ziyan. He was very respectful, "Your Majesty, sir, I hope that you and Miss Si can attend the sea ceremony. If any juniors are lucky enough to receive your guidance, I would be very grateful." "Yes," Yu Ziyan said, "I will go." Okay, the eldest elder of the Feng family was very happy. "I wonder what Miss Si likes? I can prepare it in advance." "No need," Yu Ziyan said lightly, "I will prepare." The great elder of the Feng family understood, "We are waiting for the arrival of the two of you." When the call ended, he still couldn't contain his excitement. "Great elder," at this time, the butler appeared quietly, "this is the invitation list for this time. Please take a look." The eldest elder of the Feng family took it, glanced at it, and frowned, "Cross it out from the Yu family, no one is allowed to come." The housekeeper was stunned for a moment, "Huh?" But just now the old man of the Yu family called and said that he had prepared gifts and wanted to say hello to you. The eldest elder of the Feng family sneered, "Tell them to get lost." The Feng family respects Yu Ziyan. What are the Yu family dreaming about? Give Ching Ching a monthly ticket, fairies. The monthly ticket lottery management will send it to the group. Winners remember to send their address to the management before the 9th. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 572. For the elder of the Feng family, the Yu family is not worth paying attention to. Over the past 1500 years, many families have risen and fallen, and the history of the Yu family is only 100 years. He would check the Yu family because of Yu Ziyan. This investigation was so serious that he almost wanted to go directly to Yu's house and overthrow the family. How great was Emperor Yin's contribution? Without him to turn the tide, the 5 states of Daxia would have been occupied by foreigners long ago, and maybe they are still in the flames of war now. Yu family, how can anyone treat their own children like this? Still want to attend the sea ceremony? Don't even think about it? The butler naturally followed his orders and didn't ask any further questions. Understood, I'll get rid of the Yu family right now. The eldest elder of the Feng family was still very angry and slammed the table. If they dare to appear in front of me, I will definitely teach them how to behave. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a click and the marble table cracked. Housekeeper. He deeply suspected that the great elder was led astray after visiting the Thousand Army Alliance. After finishing filming the morning scene, During the break, Sci-Fi pulled out the Heart Sutra of Love and started reading it. She has read 3 books, and the books are all marked by her comments. Indeed, she had never taken physics so seriously. Sang Yanking saw that he was very engrossed in reading, and he thoughtfully handed over a glass of lemon sparkling water. What did you learn? There are still 7 or 8 books left. Sci-Fi was eager to try. When I finish reading, I will take it in one fell swoop. Sister Sang, just watch. Sang Yanking coughed lightly and encouraged her, come on. She sighed in her heart, the poor girl didn't know she was trapped. Sure enough, high-end hunters often appear in the form of prey. On the other hand, Sang Yanking was very happy. Sci-Fi has already successfully transformed after the filming of The Devil. She is a capable actor, and falling in love will not affect her. But in a top-notch relationship, it would be easy for the entire network to be paralyzed. She could finally be ready to launch the public relations plan she had prepared long ago. Chu Lingyun strives for excellence in filming, and because it is a large-scale movie shot, even if the actors make no mistakes during the acting process, he will ask each shot to be shot 3 times, and finally select the most perfect frame. The assistant director has worked with him for many years and is used to his approach. I'm a little tired, but this movie is a blockbuster that will compete for next year's Grain Award. The assistant director walked towards Sci-Fi and said with a smile, Mr. Si, the music director just praised you for your strong expressiveness and good camera sense. I didn't expect that, Mr. Si, it's your first time making a movie, and you are so good. Sci-Fi blinked, it's my job, of course it's easier than filming a TV series. The assistant director was stunned for a moment. He was about to say something, but before he could speak, he was interrupted by a rapid roar. Rumble. It was an air raid siren. The assistant director was startled, what's going on? An air strike? An invasion? Sci-Fi narrowed his eyes, I'll go take a look. No, 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 teacher Si, the assistant director hurriedly grabbed her arm, if there is an air raid, we have to hide. It's not an air raid, Sang Yanking suddenly said, it's a prop sent to the crew by the Principality of Miston. I'm afraid it's been misunderstood. She took out her phone and showed it to the others. Someone has already taken a photo on Weibo. In the sky, 8 planes escorted the submarine to the Arctic waters. Forget about this kind of battle, the most outrageous thing is that there is a banner hanging under every plane. The combination is one sentence. I wish the crew of Light a great success. The black characters on the red background are very bright. Sci-Fi. Her fist hardened. Should she still be lucky that she didn't use white bottoms? Otherwise it would have been a funeral. Is this something that only money merchants can do? Are you crazy? The assistant director and other staff were dumbfounded. Only Yu Jian laughed so hard that she immediately took out her mobile phone and went online to save the pictures and videos. While saving, he said to himself, well, these are all clues, let me keep a few more backups. When the time comes to welcome her junior sister back to the top of the clouds, she will make a collection of these pictures and videos and release them for everyone to enjoy. Let Lao Lu experience what it feels like to die in society. Such a big move brought the network to a standstill. The programmer worked on an emergency fix for 10 minutes. Netizens were also shocked. I was sleeping in and was woken up by the siren. It scared me to death. I was ready to go into battle to kill the enemy. Good guy, Chu Lingyun is so awesome, he can even borrow a nuclear submarine. I was short-sighted to have the Principality of Miston personally wish the crew a successful start. Big deal. What a big deal. The music director should still be relying on Yoon Ian's reputation. In those days, Yoon Lan was always greeted by everyone wherever he went. Hey, when will the big devil come back to filming? I have a dream, that is, one day Baby Ching Ching and Demon King Yoon can play against each other. I hope the music director can fulfill my dream. Me too, me too. I fucking thought about it carefully. In the movie Light, she played multiple roles by herself, so she was playing opposite herself, right? Very good too. But the sixth senior brother's actions made her really intolerable. She dialed Raphael's number and gritted her teeth. Your Highness, didn't you agree to send it quietly? And what's the matter with the words under the plane? Raphael was quite surprised. Isn't this just for you? I heard that people in Daxia like red, so I specially picked the right red color. I fucking smiled and said very coldly, get out. After being hung up on again, Raphael still didn't understand what he had done wrong. The other side. Headquarters of the Supernatural Administration. Xia Yangkai received 5 pieces of clothes from Si fucking. But Xia Yu had already watched his mother stay in front of the mirror for 3 hours, still turning back and forth reluctantly. Xia Yu felt a headache and felt weak. Mom, it's just clothes? This is not just clothes, this is specially designed for me by the right hand of God. Xia Yangkai snorted coldly, look at Ching Ching, and then look at you. Xia Yu said that he has become accustomed to his status in the family. Your Majesty, at this time, the deputy knocked on the door and said respectfully, there has been an A-level incident in Zikan. People have been sent to suppress it. Please come to the madam. Xia Yangkai put away his clothes. You brat, let's go, you have to learn to deal with emergencies, and you have to protect Daxia in the future, you know. Xia Yu put aside his carelessness and followed Xia Yangkai out. The two soon arrived in Zikan. A building was damaged, but fortunately there were no casualties. Master Agart Chief came forward immediately. The energy-driven evolver has been controlled. Yes, Xia Yangkai waved his hand, and the airflow surged, directly lifting the evolver Void, who was tied up on the ground. Airflow control. Beside, a middle-aged man's pupils couldn't help but shrink when he saw this. His eyes fell on Xia Yangkai's sleeves. He frowned, and stepped forward. May I ask if you are the head of the Supernatural Management Bureau? That's right. Xia Yangkai motioned to his deputy to take out his tablet and pulled up an electronic document. You need to sign here. The middle-aged man hesitated for a moment, but still left a name. If anything happens in the future, I will contact you, Xia Yangkai said. If nothing happens, you can leave. The middle-aged man pursed his lower lip, glanced at Xia Yangkai again, and then left with his companions. Xia Yu whispered, Mom, those people just now seem to be evolved ones too. Xia Yangkai said calmly, of course I saw it, so I asked them to leave the information. If they dare to do anything in Daxia, we can trace it as quickly as possible. Xia Yu's fox eyes narrowed deeply, thoughtfully. Let's go. We have to pack our things and go to Nanzhou after we get back. Xia Yangkai pushed Xia Yu, don't keep Ching Ching waiting. 2 days later, the Feng family. The sea sacrifice ceremony is about to be held. The Feng family's mansion has been decorated, and the guards are ready. Feng Ziyi went out to pick up Yu's family. Even though she was unwilling, she knew that Ling's commander was definitely not someone she could get, so she returned her gaze to Yu Xian. At least Yu Xian's appearance matches her aesthetic taste, and her face is not bad after all. Thank you, Miss Feng. Mr. Yu said with a smile. If he and Miss Feng become a family in the future, the Yu family will definitely not treat Miss Feng badly. If it weren't for Feng Ziyi, the Yu family would not be able to participate in the sea ceremony, let alone make friends with the children of the aristocratic family at the sea ceremony. Feng Ziyi hummed lightly. First of all, let's make it clear that we didn't intend for him to marry into your Yu family beside her. Mrs. Feng said calmly, it was for him to marry into the Feng family, and there will be no children in the future, because we didn't intend for him to marry into your Yu family. I don't want to have a baby, and the most important thing is that some of your miscellaneous relatives don't want to have a relationship with us. These conditions are not harsh to Mr. Yu, but they make him embarrassed. But people are under the eaves and have to bow their heads. Mr. Yu still smiled. Of course, Aju is the one who has the upper hand for Miss Feng, and Miss Feng must take the lead in everything. Feng Ziyi enjoyed the following very much and smiled a little. Ms Feng was still picking and choosing. Wei Yi has a bad temper. If he dares to make Yi angry at that time, the matter will never be over. Since he is a wife, he must listen to our wishes in everything. Mr. Yu also agreed one by one. Getting married, a lazy voice sounded from behind. What a majestic person. Mr. Yu paused in his steps, feeling a little worried. He turned around, and when he saw the face of the visitor clearly, he suddenly froze. Si, Miss Si. This is the first time Mr. Yu has met Si fucking. Some time ago, no matter how many people he sent, he could not see Si fucking's people. Feng Ziyi's smile froze in an instant, and her expression was very cold, and she frowned. Why are you here? Is the Feng family a place where Si fucking can come? Why is it so lingering? Good morning. After looking at the queue views, it's not far from 1,000 votes. We'll add more after all. Ovo. Feng's strength explains what it means to accurately hit every lightning point. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 573. She was an outsider in Xiata, and she had to stay away. This was Nan Zofeng's place. Could she still be afraid of Si fucking? Thinking of all the humiliations Si fucking had brought to her, Feng Ziyi felt like an ant was biting her. She has been a proud child since she was a child, and has never experienced such a huge blow from her peers. What's more, Si fucking is 7 or 8 years younger than her, and will be more brilliant than her in the future. She couldn't accept it. Since Si fucking took the initiative to show her face, don't blame her for being rude. Feng Ziyi looked at Si fucking coldly, with cold light in his eyes, and said in a cold voice, please leave here immediately. Si fucking raised her eyes lightly. Only then did she find out that Feng Ziyi was the blind date that the Yu family wanted to introduce to Yu Xian. She couldn't care about the Yu family's affairs and didn't bother to care about them, but her remarks were really unpalatable. In her opinion, even if Yu Xian has no strength or appearance, he is still a dragon among men. He is a very gentle person who treats every plant and tree. Si fucking did not look at Feng Ziyi, but his eyes fell on Mr. Yu and Mrsu. Mr. Yu was a little flattered. Hello, Miss Si, I am Yu Zhongxian. We were not able to meet a while ago because you were not available. I've dealt with Yao several times. This time he didn't come. When I get back, I'll have him come to your door in person to apologize. Mrsu snorted coldly in her heart, but she didn't show it on her face. Because Yu Yao was severely punished, she didn't like Si fucking. If you are so capable, why hide it? If Yu Yao had known that Si fucking was the god of 9, why would he have treated her like that in the past? In Mrsu's view, everything was Si fucking's fault. Yes, we finally met. We didn't make it clear on the phone last time. This time we face each other. I'll put my words here. Si fucking's foxy eyes curled up, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. You guys dislike Ju so much, brother, it just so happens that he has nothing to do with your Yu family, so don't be too presumptuous to arrange important life events for him. You think he is a burden and a burden to the Yu family. I don't think so. You don't want it? I want it. I am a big star and it is more than enough to support him. At worst, I will pick up a few more endorsements and variety shows, and I can also participate in sports meets. Xiaobai in the pocket heard this and waved his little paw in agreement. Mr. Yu was stunned for a moment, and then he realized what the phone Si fucking was talking about. His expression changed instantly. The strange female voice that appeared on the phone was actually Si fucking? Could it be that she is right next to you, Zion? What is the relationship between them? Logically speaking, it is impossible for you Zion and Si fucking to have any intersection at all. Mr. Yu stayed where he was, his ears buzzing. Mrs. Feng laughed angrily, her eyes were cold. What do you mean? You are openly leaning against the wall in front of our eyes? This is what we like you. You like being a mistress so much. Marriage is about the parents' orders and the matchmaker's words. You can tell it clearly with just one mouth. Si fucking didn't even need to say anything, Shanglu had already stepped forward, and with lightning speed, he slapped Mrs. Feng twice on the left and right cheeks. His speed was so fast that no one else could react. Shanglu said coldly, "Don't be disrespectful to Miss Si." Si fucking, Feng Ziyi supported Mrs. Feng, shocked and angry, "You have gone too far. You are looking for death. How dare you attack the Feng family in the Feng family? It's a life-threatening situation." As soon as he finished speaking, Feng Ziyi was slapped on the face. Shanglu sneered, "Can't you understand people? Don't be disrespectful to Miss Si. It's quiet around here. This place is some distance from the gate of Feng Cheng, and there are not many people there." After hearing the crisp sound, the residents just looked at the side strangely and left in a hurry. Feng Ziyi was stunned, more so in disbelief, and his self-confidence was once again hit hard. How could such an ordinary bodyguard beside Si fucking be more skilled than her? She didn't even see how he did it. At this time, Si fucking said slowly, "Phytolaka." Phytolaka immediately retreated to the back, pleased with itself. Miss C's force was too high, and he could never find a chance to take action. This time he finally succeeded. When the time comes, he will show off to Feng San and Xiang. Am I going too far? Si fucking pinched her wrist and suddenly realized, "Oh, what can you do to me?" "You," Feng Ziyi was so angry that his whole body was shaking, and his eyes were filled with tears. She had never seen such an arrogant and shameless person as Si fucking, who could be so confident even though he was clearly beating someone. But there was really nothing she could do. Feng Ziyi also knew that Si fucking didn't even exert his full strength during the military training. Not having the nerve to stay any longer, Feng Ziyi took Mrs. Feng and left in a hurry. "Remember my words." Si fucking looked at the stunned old man Yu again, and warned with a smile, "If I see you bullying him again, be careful when walking at night." Shanglu's eyes lit up again. "Miss Si, should I prepare the sacks? When the moon is dark and the wind is high, it feels very good to wear one set." "You can prepare." Si fucking agreed, "let's go." Shanglu carried the gifts for the Feng family and followed Si fucking. Mr. Yu was still in a daze. It took 3 minutes before he came back to his senses and opened his mouth, but nothing came out. His thoughts were confused, but he was extremely happy in a flash, and said to Mrs. "We don't have to marry the Feng family. Miss Si likes Shi Yan so much that she wants to support him. Shi Yan will definitely be treated better by her than Feng." "Hello, madam." Before this, Mr. Yu never dared to think about getting married to Si fucking. Compared with Si fucking, Feng Ziyi can only be regarded as the second best. Mrs. however, had a stern face and said resolutely, "No. Didn't you see what she did to Miss Ziyi just now? She is simply a shrew. She is so violent and unreasonable. No matter how good she is, she will never enter the Yu family." Mrs. was furious just now, but she held it back. Because she believed that no matter what she said, Si fucking would never hold back because she was Yu Zion's mother. Mr. Yu was silent for a long time and sighed, "That's the case. If Si fucking were to marry in, the Yu family would definitely be in chaos." "It's better, Miss Feng." Madam Yu babbled, "You see, where is Si fucking who came to the airport specifically to pick us up from Feng's house? He didn't say anything about it." Mr. Yu shook his head and said nothing more. "Let's go." but he had already begun to shrewdly calculate in his mind how to use Yu Zion to obtain more resources from Sci-fucking. Sci-fucking was brought into the Feng family personally by the eldest elder of the Feng family. Yesterday Yu Zion went to Mo City, and today he came with Mo Yanwen. The two are playing chess. Miss Si is well, Mo Yanwen said. I haven't seen you for a few days, Miss Si. You look very good. I'll be haggard in a few days, Sci-fucking sighed. I'll definitely be woken up by King Wan for filming in the middle of the night. Yu Zion held a sunspot between her slender fingers and smiled. Then I will have a good talk with this King Wan. Sci-fucking blinked. Brother Ju, you are so kind. Yu Zion hummed and smiled softly. You are also very good. He had heard everything about what happened on the road. Sci-fucking didn't realize at all that she had fallen into a deep routine. She yawned and said, I'll lean back and sleep for a while. She quickly fell into a deep sleep. Yu Zion stood up and covered her with a blanket. Mo Yanwen was very sensible and took the initiative to clear up the chessboard and leave. At this time, Mr. Yu and MRSU also arrived at the Feng family mansion, and there were many guests filing in. Mr. Yu can't wait to make new connections. The housekeeper had been busy all morning and was feeling dizzy when he suddenly heard the word Yu family and suddenly became alert. His built-in radar system activated and immediately captured Mr. Yu's figure, and he walked over directly with the mop. Mr. Yu was chatting and laughing with a member of a noble family. He knew that this was the best opportunity for the Yu family to climb up, and he could not miss it. Just when he was about to introduce the Yu group, a huge push suddenly came from his back and he almost lost his balance. The Yu family, right? Who let you in? The housekeeper said coldly. The Feng family didn't invite you at all. How shameful are you if you come uninvited? Get out of here. Mr. Yu suddenly paused and his expression changed. There was quite a commotion and many people around looked over, including guards from the Feng family and children from other aristocratic families. For the first time, Mr. Yu became the focus and center of the three major families and the four major alliances, but it was not what he thought. These eyes were full of scrutiny, like a thorn in his back, which made him extremely embarrassed. Mr. Yu's face suddenly turned red. We didn't come uninvited, it was Feng. Stop talking nonsense. The housekeeper didn't know why the elder of the Feng family prohibited the Yu family from entering, but he only had to follow the order, guard. Immediately some guards took Mr. Yu and MRSU out without any shame. A layer of cold sweat broke out on Mr. Yu's back, and when the wind blew, it was freezing cold. Being kicked out by the Feng family like this, where can the Yu family put their face? But they were invited by Feng Ziyi. What on earth is going on? The fact that the Yu family was openly driven away became a joke. Feng Ziyi had just finished giving MRS Feng the medicine and heard about it after she came out. Feng Ziyi suppressed his anger and went to the housekeeper. Butler, what's going on? I invited the Yu family, why did you just kick them out? Isn't this just a slap on her face? The Yu family was not worth mentioning to her at all, but she couldn't lose her face. The housekeeper stopped what he was doing and his eyes were extremely sharp. Miss Ziyi, what do you mean? Are you the one who invited the Yu family? After taking a look at the number of times His Majesty tricked Ching Ching, he was so heartbroken, but in King King's opinion, she was the one who took the initiative. 23,333. Ching Ching to the people around me, Shan Gui and Sister Sang, please do more things, otherwise it will be useless, smiley face, see you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 574. At first the housekeeper thought it was because the Yu family was as shameless as a basin and ran to the Windy City without being invited. So after he had people drive the Yu family out, he didn't take it to heart anymore. If Feng Ziyi hadn't taken the initiative to find him, he really wouldn't have known that she had invited the Yu family. Yes, It's me. Feng Ziyi was a little impatient. Since you know, why don't you invite them back quickly? I'm sorry, Miss Ziyi. The housekeeper smiled politely, but his eyes became colder. I didn't know that the Yu family were your honored guests, so I'll send someone to invite them. Feng Ziyi's expression softened. In the future, the Yu family will be a family with us. I also need to prepare for the banners. You can go and invite them. She didn't notice at all that the housekeeper looked at her like a dead person, and left quickly. The housekeeper handed over the rest of the matters to other servants and hurriedly went to the elder to tell him what had just happened. The expression of the eldest elder of the Feng family changed. Family? Check for me, what is going on? 5 minutes later, the housekeeper came back and presented all the found information to the great elder. Especially the incident of Feng Ziyi sneaking up on Sci-fi during the military training for freshmen in Xia University is all over the internet and is easy to find. The eldest elder of the Feng family turned over page after page, becoming more and more angry as he read. At the end, when he saw that Feng Ziyi had made Yu Ziyan his wife and had to listen to her and take the lead in everything, he stood up suddenly and smashed another table. How brave, you bastard! Not to mention that Yu Ziyan is Emperor Yin. Even an ordinary person cannot be treated with such insult and contempt. The eldest elder of the Feng family was so angry that his heart and lungs ached. Where is she? Lock her up for me, and after the sacrifice to the sea is completed, I will immediately expel her from the Feng family according to family law. She is preparing to resist the flag, the housekeeper said. It should be at her residence. Still resisting the banner, the eldest elder of the Feng family was furious. Letting her resist the banner is an insult to the Feng family and the ancestors who died in the war. He breathed slowly. You follow my orders. I will go find Mr. Yu and Miss Si. The housekeeper nodded and got busy. Here, Si woke up from her sleep. She rubbed her eyes and stretched. It's so comfortable. In order to accompany Yu Ziyan to Feng's house for the sea sacrifice ceremony, she had to work overtime for filming and get permission from Chu Lingyun. Are you awake? A slender hand covered her from the dazzling sunlight outside the window. Si narrowed his eyes slightly. Well, what time is it? Is it about to start? There's still half an hour. Yu Ziyan's eyebrows moved. The girl woke up on time. Of course, you are a worker. You have a working spirit. Si rubbed his shoulders. Pack up and go out to worship the sea. She stood up, but her wrist was suddenly grabbed. Si paused and turned around. Brother Ninth. Yu Ziyan raised his eyes and looked at her steadily. A pair of auspicious phoenix eyes flickered, making it difficult to distinguish the depth, like two cold pools. He raised the corners of his lips slightly and suddenly said, Ching ching. Thank you. What's there to thank you for? Si knew that he was referring to her complaining about Yu's family, so she snapped her fingers lazily. I am your personal bodyguard, of course I have to protect you, let alone them. I'm so angry for being so harsh on you. This sentence touched a soft place in his heart, and his smile deepened, as if a ray of light was falling, making people's hearts tremble. Well, I'm not angry anymore. Yu Ziyan touched her head and chuckled. You are the one who gets angry and hurts yourself. Si felt that, as expected, the book becoming a domineering female CEO and imprisoning him. This book is very worth studying. Although it cost her more than 10 yuan, the money was spent wisely. There was a knock on the door at this moment. Si jumped off the sofa and opened the door. The eldest elder of the Feng family wiped his sweat and immediately apologized. Mr. Yu, Miss Si, I'm so sorry. I just found out what Feng Ziyi did. I've already had her locked up, and I will definitely punish her severely. Si nodded and said, I have nothing to do, but it is absolutely not okay for her to bully ninth brother and make ninth brother feel wronged. The eldest elder of the Feng family. Are the roles reversed? The eldest elder of the Feng family glanced at Yu Ziyan and found that he was taking his time and seemed to be enjoying himself extremely. The eldest elder of the Feng family was silent for a moment. Time is urgent, so we have to hold a sea sacrifice ceremony first. I will go find the people who resist the banner first. Alas, what an obstacle. Resist the banner, Sci-fi said, I will resist. The eldest elder of the Feng family couldn't help being surprised. Miss Si. The anti-flag flags used in the sea sacrifice ceremony are different from the anti-flag flags used in funerals. The Feng family chose anti-flag people to guide the soldiers who died at sea. Sci-fi said, is there any problem? I can learn all taboos and taboos. The eldest elder of the Feng family carefully looked at the man Yun Danfunking and said hurriedly, no problem, no problem, I'm just afraid of disturbing Miss Si. This is Feng Jia. Disturbing, Si took the flag in his hand and smiled, aren't there just people to carry it? What's the point? The elder of the Feng family looked solemn, I'm overthinking it, Miss Si please. Si changed clothes in the back room and went out. Everyone got on the boat to participate in the sea ceremony. At this time, Feng Ziyi was banging on the door desperately, but the door didn't move at all. Open the door. Open the door. What are you doing? Today I am resisting the banner. Do you want to rebel? She took pictures for a long time, but still no one paid attention to her. Feng Ziyi looked at the time and found that the sea sacrifice ceremony had already begun, which made him even more anxious. Is it possible that the other children of the Yufeng family are deliberately framing her? Aren't you afraid of being dealt with by family law? At this moment, the closed door was opened. Feng Ziyi breathed a sigh of relief, straightened her clothes, and was about to go out, but before she could take a step, the two of them were thrown into the room by the guards. It is Father Feng and Mrs. Feng. The guards closed the door again. Feng Ziyi's expression changed. Dad. Mom. Father Feng and Mrs. Feng were also in a panic. Ziyi, what's going on? Why are we arrested? Today is the Feng family's annual sea sacrifice ceremony, and all the children of the Feng family must participate. For the first time, Feng Ziyi was so anxious that she almost cried. I don't know, Mom, didn't they say anything when they arrested you? Mrs. Feng shook her head, her face pale. Time passed by minute by minute. Feng Ziyi's family of 3 was detained for 6 hours. With no water and no sunlight for these 6 hours, Feng Ziyi's spirit almost collapsed. Just when she was going completely crazy, the door was finally opened. The housekeeper led the guards in and arrested the 3 of Feng Ziyi as quickly as possible. Feng Ziyi said angrily, what are you doing? You are committing the following crime. Miss Ziyi, if you have anything to say, please tell the elder, the housekeeper said calmly, take them away. Boom. Feng Ziyi was pushed to the floor, and severe pain came from his knees. Only then did she realize that there were people sitting around, including the heads of the Mo family and the heads of the Thousand Army Alliance. Trial by 3 families and 4 alliances. This was the first time she had seen such a battle. Feng Ziyi panicked. What exactly is going on? I am ashamed of the ancestors of the Feng family for having such evil in the family. In the middle position, the elder of the Feng family took a deep breath, completely unable to restrain the anger in his chest. I also want to apologize to you. It was my lack of supervision that allowed this evil to ruin the Feng family's reputation. Mo Yanwen smiled faintly, Elder, don't blame yourself. There are thousands of people in the Feng family just like the Mo family. You can't take care of them all. If you violate family rules and ancestral teachings, you should be taught a lesson. The family has a great business and there are not many people missing. Feng Ziyi on the ground trembled when she heard this. She raised her head suddenly and opened her mouth, Great Elder, I. Before she could finish what she said, she was whipped by the elder of the Feng family. This whip hit Feng Ziyi directly on the head. She felt her vision darken instantly, her brain was buzzing, and she felt dizzy. Without the Feng family, you are nothing. The eldest elder of the Feng family whipped him up again. You bully the weak just because you are a member of a noble family. The Feng family doesn't have anything like you. Brother-in-law. Who do you think you are? Do you know how to respect others? You can even do something as despicable as a sneak attack. You deserve to be expelled from T18. The eldest elder of the Feng family was not gentle, and he was beating in the most ruthless way. Feng Ziyi let out shrill screams uncontrollably, one after another. She was rolling on the ground in pain, her internal organs were mixed together, and pain swept through her whole body. She had no idea that the great elder would know what she had done. But the former great elder clearly doesn't care about this kind of thing, so what went wrong? Feng Ziyi no longer looked as domineering as before. She was lying on the ground, very humble. Great elder, Feng Ziyi's voice trembled, Great elder, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please give me a chance to change my ways. Please forgive me. Mo Yanwen spoke at this time with a gentle voice, the family law is 108 lashes, and it's not over yet. Feng Ziyi started another round of screams. After enforcing the family law, the eldest elder of the Feng family said coldly, from now on, Feng Ziyi's status as a direct descendant of the Feng family will be abolished, he will be expelled from the Feng family, and his name will be removed from the family tree. With a boom, Feng Ziyi's mind went blank. She was removed from the Feng family. How is this possible? She has been expelled from T18, and the Feng family is her last protection. Would the great elder give up such an outstanding family member as her for an irrelevant outsider? Father Feng and Mrs. Feng were also stunned and began to kowtow crazily, Great elder, please spare your life. Mrs. Feng married into the Feng family and had no blood relationship. But Feng Fu had mediocre qualifications in his generation and was very inconspicuous. They also all hope that Feng Ziyi can successfully run for the next head of the Feng family. But in the blink of an eye, I fell from heaven to hell. But it's not over yet. Come here, the eldest elder of the Feng family grabbed Feng Ziyi's shoulders, lifted her up, and pressed her in front of Yu Ziyan and Si fucking. Immediately apologize to Mr. Yu and Miss Si. Kneel down, no stand up. The monthly ticket is almost 1,000, I will keep my promise and we will update tomorrow. Something happened today. See you in the afternoon. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 575. More severe pain came from Feng Ziyi's back, causing her to scream again. But the physical pain was far less than the impact of vision and hearing on her at this moment. Only then did Feng Ziyi realize that there were not only the Mo family and Qinjunmen in the main hall, but also a man and a woman beside the elder of the Feng family. This was the first time she had seen Yu Ziyan in person, but she had seen his photos countless times. For the first time, Feng Ziyi knew what it meant to have a temperament that overwhelms the eyebrows. She even caught a fleeting sense of familiarity in him that made her heart almost jump out of her chest. But before she could feel it carefully, her head was pressed down by the elder of the Feng family, apologize. Feng Ziyi's thoughts were in a mess, his heart was so confused that he couldn't even think. What's going on? Why did the Feng family list Si fucking and Yu Ziyan as guests? She originally thought that with the Feng family here, she would not be afraid of Si fucking, but why did the person being looked down upon turn out to be her? The extreme embarrassment made Feng Ziyi almost breathless, and her voice was as thin as a mosquito, I'm sorry. Louder. Feng Ziyi pinched his palms, his face turned red, and he yelled, I'm sorry. Are you trying to deafen people with such a loud voice? The eldest elder of the Feng family was furious and slapped Feng Ziyi on the face, a man who is almost 30 years old doesn't even have this kind of tutoring? To whom? Where are you apologizing? I didn't even scream. As soon as he thought that Feng Ziyi wanted Yu Ziyan to marry him, his heart was already in his throat, and he wanted to die to apologize. Feng Ziyi still dares to make small moves here. It's so desperate. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Feng Ziyi collapsed and finally cried, it's my fault. I shouldn't have taken action against Miss Si for my own selfish reasons. I also don't dare to disrespect Mr. Yu. They are all mine wrong, please forgive me, great elder. For Feng Ziyi, whose heart is as high as the sky, asking her to apologize to Si fucking and Yu Zion is even more uncomfortable than killing her. What are you selfish about? The eldest elder of the Feng family slammed the table, tell me everything. Feng Ziyi didn't dare to hide anything at all, and told everything about her meeting with Ling's commander in Bizhu and everything that followed. Even Mrs. Feng and Father Feng didn't know about these things. They looked at Feng Ziyi blankly, unable to understand what she did. The eldest elder of the Feng family became even more angry, your conscience has really been eaten by a dog. Xiaobai groaned, he wouldn't eat such a black heart. Si fucking finally turned around and glanced at the unmoving man, isn't this still you? A man with two faces, a monster with a black heart. Yu Zion pondered for a moment and looked back at her with a smile, it seems so. It seems like it is, but it is. Si fucking muttered, you can attract bees and butterflies even if you don't show your face. Sorry, Yu Zion whispered, next time I will follow your instructions and cover my body. Si fucking paused for a moment, it's better to forget it, it's not convenient to move. He said nothing more, just looked at her. The smile in his eyes was soft, as if the stars in the sky were hidden, falling bit by bit, filling the Milky Way. When a clear sense of youth and a reliable sense of maturity appear in a man at the same time, his attraction is fatal. Si fucking avoided his gaze and said with a serious expression, boss, my heart has been hurt. I want to increase my year-end bonus. Yu Zion just followed her, yeah, add it. As soon as Feng Ziyi looked up, he saw the two of them looking at each other affectionately, without noticing her at all. Her hands couldn't help but tremble, and she finally couldn't help shouting, Si fucking, you are stepping on two boats, you are shameless. He is so good to you, but you still want to go behind his back. Are you worthy of raising a pretty boy outside? He asked T18 specifically for a spot in military training for you. How could you do such a thing? I'm going to report you to zero. The eldest elder of the Feng family was shocked and angry, and kicked Feng Ziyi directly in the heart, you bastard. Treason, simply treason. Si fucking blinked and said with great interest, he is so kind to me, what can you do? Go ahead and sue him, come on, I'm optimistic about you. He was already seriously injured, but in a fit of rage, Feng Ziyi spit out a mouthful of blood, his face as pale as paper. Take your daughter and get out. The eldest elder of the Feng family became more and more angry as he spoke. From today on, you are prohibited from even setting foot in Feng City. When things have reached this point, there is no room for maneuver. Father Feng and Mrs. Feng had all eaten from the Feng family these years. They didn't take anything and were kicked out directly. Others in the main hall, including Mo Yanwen and Xiao Wenjian, felt their scalps numb and felt extremely stressed. He said that Emperor Yin was a pretty boy, and his life was not enough for him. Yu Zion naturally saw the uneasiness of several people, and he said, Ching Ching, the plane is ready. I'll ask Feng San to take you off. Si fucking was eager to give it a try, brother ninth, I can also fly a plane. I can go back by myself. Can't. She picked up Xiaobai and turned around, obviously not wanting to pay attention to him. Yu Zion sighed amusedly, there will be a chance in the future, Feng San. Feng San took the gift from the eldest elder of the Feng family and sent Si fucking out. The eldest elder of the Feng family dismissed the others, leaving only Mo Yan and Xiao Wenjian. Mo Yanwen thought for a long time before finally speaking, Your Majesty is not angry. The pretty boy undoubtedly said that Yu Zion only had one face and no strength at all. This was clearly an insult to Emperor Yin, the god of war. "I'm not angry," Yu Xian hummed lightly, "I did it on purpose." Mo Yanwen thought for a moment and then understood. He smiled. It turns out that His Majesty showed weakness in front of Miss Si in order to stimulate Miss C's protective desire. Yu Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. Sometimes being too smart is not a good thing. Xiao Wenjian. Hi, really hi. He would try the same thing when he went back, pretending to be weak. Maybe Mu Qingmeng would feel more sorry for him, and his family status would also be improved. At this moment, outside Feng Cheng. Yi, what are you doing? Mrs. Feng was very disappointed. You are destroying yourself, do you know? How can they live without the Feng family? Quality of life and status are gone. Mom, Dad, don't worry. Feng Ziyi pinched his palms with a gloomy expression. Soon Si fucking will also have to accompany me. She was having a hard time, and Si fucking couldn't even think about feeling comfortable. Mrs. Feng did not believe what Feng Ziyi said. She wiped her tears and cried desperately, "Don't you see how respectful the great elder is to her? How can she accompany you?" "Yes. Ziyi, she is not someone we can offend. Please stop struggling fearlessly." Feng Ziyi sneered, "Mom, what she cares about most is her reputation and status in the entertainment industry, and her fans who are willing to fight for her. Without these, do you think she would be miserable?" Mrs. Feng froze suddenly. She didn't understand the entertainment industry. "Ziyi, you. Wait a minute, I've already written an email to Mr. Latson." Feng Ziyi's eyes were full of resentment. She will soon become a street rat and everyone will beat her up, and she will be humiliated internationally. She would never give up just like that. Even if she died, she would make Si fucking fall off the altar. Because the filming task could not be delayed, Si fucking rushed back to the light crew that night. She was determined to be more curled than Chu Lingyun, so that she could defeat this king of involution. The assistant director and other crew members suffered the most. They had never seen an actor take the initiative to urge the director to shoot faster. "Director, teacher Si, something happened." At this time, the deputy director hurried over. A designer abroad accused 11 Jianjiao of plagiarizing one of his designs from the year before. Someone translated the news from the internet into Chinese and moved it. "Come here, Weibo has exploded now. The brand Zijianjiao is a very niche national-style brand. Under the leadership of Si fucking, it gradually gained a foothold in the Great Xia Empire. The improved summer clothes also set off a new trend in the country." Of course, Chu Lingyun knew that it was a brand specially developed by Lan. He was already half dead, but he didn't expect to be saved by Si fucking. He frowned. "What's going on?" The assistant director handed over the tablet. Hashtag Si fucking hashtag. Hashtag Zijianjiao, plagiarism hashtag. Hashtag LN chief designer Latson hashtag. Haha, it's such a disgrace that it was sent abroad. It's obviously something that belongs to my ancestors, so why should I find it copied by foreigners? It was really embarrassing to be directly pointed out by the designer. I immediately threw away all the 11 Jianjiao clothes I bought. It's bad luck. Can you do something original? It would be really embarrassing if this was really discovered on the show floor. This is the plagiarized and original picture, they said. The deputy director called up the picture. Several designers in the design industry have identified it and confirmed that it is indeed plagiarized. Chu Lingyun frowned even more. This is not the style designed by Latson. This is obviously an ancient costume derived from the Daxia Empire. Latson does not work at Lan, but is the chief designer of another internationally renowned brand, LN. He had also applied for a job at Leyland, but he failed Gu Wenzu's assessment. More importantly, Latson has never been to the Daxia Empire at all. In the few interviews he has accepted, he also looked down upon the Daxia culture. The assistant director wiped his sweat, but he did release this design 2 years ago, but it has never been made into ready-made clothes. The corresponding timeline can be found on social accounts. Presumably the design brand company Latson worked for did not pay attention to the trend of the Daxia Empire, so this design drawing became the bottom stock of the box. What also makes the assistant director very strange is that although 11 Jianjiao was invited to the international show, his international reputation has not yet developed. How could Latson suddenly pay attention to 11 Jianjiao? Let me take a look as I fucking took it. She glanced at Latson's design and suddenly realized, oh, this is my draft. I'll give you an update tomorrow, put a bowl out for Ching Ching to ask for monthly votes, thank you all. See you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 576. Although she had only been to the Daxia Empire once or twice in her previous life, she admired the ancient culture of Daxia very much because Ye Banlan would always tell her the myths of Daxia in her free time after the mission. It was also under the influence of Ye Tuanlin that he established the Shinayan Society with Qing Huan and others online, and then found Chu Lingyun to jointly make a movie. In the 3D game Oracle, she also unswervingly chose the Eastern camp. Occasionally when she gets tired from practicing in the Eternal Continent, she will take out a small notebook to design some clothes, and then bring them to reality through the game cabin. Eternity built a brand new magical world, and the plants and trees in it gave her countless inspirations, and she also scrapped many manuscripts. The Unco Lord design shown by Latson is indeed one of her drafts. As soon as the sentence came out, the surroundings were quite quiet. Chu Lingyun and the assistant director looked at each other. Two people who were used to seeing strong winds and waves could no longer speak at this moment. After a full minute, Chu Lingyun finally found his voice, your draft. Latson is 45 years old and has been famous in the international fashion design world for more than 10 years. Of course, Gu Wenzu and God's right hand are the existence of the fault, which is beyond the reach of anyone. Let me think about it. I fucking touched his chin, it should have been drawn when I entered the industry. My skills were not good at that time, so I just drew it casually for fun, so it became a useless draft. Chu Lingyun's tone changed, waste manuscript? Just for fun. Although directing is his main job, he is also very accomplished in the field of clothing and jewelry design. How could he not see the essence of this design? Can this be called a waste manuscript? The assistant director's voice was also very difficult, so these costumes of 11 Jianjiao were designed by you, Miss Si. He must be dreaming, who is going to wake him up? Yes, Si fucking said lazily, isn't this saving money on hiring a designer? We can save every dollar. The assistant director was choked and confused. Dare Mr. Kingsley learn design just to save money? Chu Lingyun couldn't help but exclaimed, Fu Qing, you are so amazing. If Alan were here, I would definitely introduce you two to each other. She is also a very powerful designer, so we have more in common. Si fucking hopeless. Like her sixth senior brother, she has powerful dodge capabilities. Teacher Si, can you still find your draft? The assistant director said angrily, we have to expose the real plagiarist. Si fucking was silent for a moment, well, it will take a while, but I need your help. She once took her drafts to Gu Wenzu, picked out a few designs that she was satisfied with, and kept them. The rest she brought back to Free Continent. Fortunately, these drafts were placed at the T-18 headquarters by her and were not destroyed with the explosion. No problem, Chu Lingyun agreed without hesitation, I will support you, and I will go to Weibo to clarify it for you. Si fucking raised his eyebrows, aren't you afraid that you won't be able to guarantee your safety if you are so cheerful? Look at how much I have been scolded. Chu Lingyun shrugged, you are my heroine, Of course I believe you, not to mention that Latson will never design summer-style clothes. Si fucking had a complicated expression. After a few seconds, she said, Director Chu, although your IQ is not that good, you are quite touching. Chu Lingyun. There has indeed been a commotion online. In particular, Latson personally issued an announcement strongly condemning 11 Jeonjao's plagiarism, which made many people feel shameless. These people have no ability to win glory for the country, so they can only grab the keyboard and attack the biggest target. As a spokesperson, Si fucking cannot possibly not know about plagiarism. Why, are you feeling free after becoming a music girl? You haven't won the Grain Award yet. Hey, what a disciplinary committee member, I guess I have done a lot of things that are not worthy of publicity. But there are also different voices. I am a student at the Academy of Fine Arts. To be honest, Latson's design image is a semi-finished product, while 11 Jeonjao's is the finished product. Laughing, plagiarism is plagiarism. Don't you just see that the original has not even been produced as ready-made clothes, so you dare to plagiarize so openly? Boycott Zhejianjiao starts with me. Zhejianjiao only went public at the beginning of this year, and its stock began to plummet. The most taboo thing in the design world is plagiarism. When encountering such a thing for the first time, the senior management were also a little panicked. The general manager is holding a meeting to discuss countermeasures. Si fucking's phone call came at this time. Miss Si, after hearing her request, the general manager was stunned for a moment, then became anxious. Miss Si, this is absolutely not allowed. You are already in the whirlpool of public opinion. If you announce to the public that you are a designer, you will be attacked by the whole network. Si fucking got the lead role in Chu Lingyun's new movie, which has already made many people around the world jealous. Especially several of Glenn's best actors and actresses. In their eyes, even if Si fucking won the Jushin Award for Best Actress, she could not be compared with them. Everyone knows that movies and TV series cannot be equal at all. But Chu Lingyun has always been stubborn, and he has enough funds and connections. No one can change his mind. The Countess of the Principality of Mistan used a nuclear submarine to blackmail Chu Lingyun into choosing her as the heroine, but in the end there was no news. These movie kings and movie queens wished that something would happen to Si fucking and that Chu Lingyun's leading role in the movie could fall on them. The international entertainment industry is far more chaotic than domestic entertainment. It's going to be a tough road. It's okay, just announce it like this, issue a lawyer's letter saying there was no plagiarism, and make an announcement to the entire internet. We will provide evidence. Si fucking wrote lightly, leave the rest to me. The general manager opened his mouth and finally responded, okay, Miss Si. After the call ended, Si fucking took over the temporary communication certificate of Free Continent from Yu Jian. Yu Jian looked solemn and whispered, be careful. Someone must have maliciously targeted you in that explosion. Although you have changed your body and lived again, it does not mean that no one will recognize you. Free Continent is a place where evolvers and onmyojis roam everywhere. It can be said that no one is an ordinary person. There are certainly few spiritual evolvers, but they are not none. If Si fucking was discovered before he regained his strength, the consequences would be disastrous. Si fucking lowered her eyelashes, and there was a fierce look in her pupils. Yes, I know. I left my power on you, Yu Jian added, as long as you don't meet those old perverts in Eternal Academy, there won't be any big problems. Si fucking nodded and said, the T18 headquarters is quite far away from Eternal College, but when Yan goes to take the assessment, I really have to be more careful. I feel relieved that Huo Yangxing is escorting you this time. Yu Jian raised his eyebrows. Junior sister, please move faster and bring your big benefactor to our T18, and we can take away Ling's chief executive, so that he won't be able to cry anymore. There are too many informants in Free Continent, and even the disciples on the top of the clouds will be invited to tea by the Holy Light Judgment from time to time. The higher the strength, the more people will be watching, so you must be careful. This time with a good excuse, Huo Yangxing went to T18 to go through the membership procedures. Sci-fucking accompanied him as an assistant. Even the Holy Light Judgment can't find anything wrong. Sci-fucking said quietly, second senior brother will never think that one day in the future T18 will use the beauty trap in 36 strategies to distract Zero. Tan Jingmo has wanted to recruit Ling for a long time. However, Ling's cruel and unpredictable chief is extremely capable, and both sides suffer losses. This plan was sadly shelved. A beauty trap is also a trap. Yuji uncurled her lips, and she patted the girl's shoulder. Let's go, don't stay too long, and you must be back before noon tomorrow. Don't meet the second brother either. There are too many surveillances around him. Let him worry alone. If he gets into the dark room of the Holy Light Judgment office, let him bear the burden. Sci-fucking nodded in agreement. It is indeed not a good opportunity to meet the second senior brother now. She picked up her bag and went out. Huo Yangxing was already waiting outside. Seeing her coming out, he put out his cigarette, took one more look at Yuji-an, and then nodded, Miss Si, please. Before coming, he had been warned repeatedly by Yu Zion. Naturally, he had to be very careful when sending Si-fucking to Free Continent. Huo Yangxing was silent all the way, but finally couldn't hold it back and asked, what does your sister like? Si-fucking thought for a while and said politely, a bartender with 8-pack ABS. Huo Yangxing. Hold. Here, the general manager followed Si-fucking's instructions and drafted a public relations statement and lawyer's letter, which were released simultaneously on the entire network. At Zhejiang UV, in response to the comments about plagiarism on the internet, the company issued a solemn statement that all the designs in this series were independently completed by Miss at Si-fucking. There is absolutely no plagiarism. Our company we will collect evidence and strongly condemn this malicious rumor mongering. As soon as this Weibo post came out, it caused a bigger sensation as expected by the general manager. What, was designed by Si-fucking? Holy shit, my wife can actually design clothes? Are Si-fucking's fans still happy? Your sister has plagiarized Mr. Latzin's work, but you still have the nerve to praise her? I have never seen such a shameless person. Feng Ziyi was lying in bed and unable to get off the ground due to her injuries, but she had been paying attention to the news on the internet. She was almost ecstatic. She originally thought it was just 11 Jianjiao's designer plagiarizing, but designers often hide behind the scenes, and the target of public opinion attacks is Si-fucking, the spokesperson. Seeing that Mu Si, who had superior fighting ability, wanted to help Si-fucking escape from the whirlpool of public opinion, Feng Ziyi became a little anxious. Before Feng Ziyi could think hard about any better way, Si-fucking unexpectedly hung herself from the southeast branch and admitted that the design was hers. He even made an announcement all over the internet, which is undoubtedly provoking the entire fashion design industry. Si-fucking is finished now. Happy New Week. There will be an update in the afternoon. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 577. Feng Ziyi never believed that anyone was omnipotent. Si-fucking already has such high attainments and achievements in acting, singing, games, learning, and fighting, but he still wants to get involved in the field of fashion design? Did you finally overturn your own fault? Feng Ziyi sneered and turned off the phone, feeling very happy. Mom, look, she is not that smart. She is already stupid enough to be criticized by the public. Mrs. Feng looked at Feng Ziyi, who was already a little crazy, half frightened and half puzzled. Oh, what if Si-fucking is forced to quit the entertainment industry? Don't you mean that Officer Ling? Are you very protective of her? He even made a deal with T18 for her to harm Zero's interests. Hearing this, Feng Ziyi dug her nails into her palms, and she took a deep breath. That's because she is pretending to be deceitful with her face. Mom, have you forgotten that she openly provoked me? Say if I want to support that disabled person in the Yu family, I will definitely tear her true face apart. After her injury gets better, she will write a report letter to Zero. It's obvious that Sci-fucking is the morally corrupt person, why can't others see clearly? Mrs. Feng obviously also remembered the 2 slaps she received from Shanglu on the street. She was so angry that she was shaking all over again. Yes, we must expose her. Feng Ziyi took a breath, then closed his eyes and began to rest peacefully. This Weibo posted by 11 Jianjiao made netizens unable to understand. It is obvious that plagiarism is a matter of ironclad certainty, so why do you still dare to speak so brazenly? Public opinion reached its highest point after Chu Lingyun forwarded 11 Jianjiao's Weibo. What is Chu Lingyun doing? You are a designer yourself, can't you see that this is plagiarism? At this time, are you still protecting Sci-fucking? I have long said that the gap between Sci-fucking and Yunlan is too big, and Chu Lingyun is really blind this time. Laughing, Sci-fucking didn't plagiarize. Could it be that Latsin plagiarized? I don't even dare to brag like that. At this time, Sci-fucking and Huo Yangxing had already arrived in the sky above Free Continent. She lowered her head and looked down from the plane, looking at the huge urban agglomeration that was completely different from other continents. Her eyes narrowed slightly. More than 4 years have passed since the explosion, and for her, 3 of those years were just a blink of an eye. These years have been enough for Free Continent to undergo earth-shaking changes. Familiar and strange. Once again setting foot on the land where she had grown up, Sci-fucking felt very complicated. The 2 went straight to the T-18 headquarters. On the way, Sci-fucking keenly noticed that there were many lines of sight constantly scanning here. Oh, Mr. Huo. Roland held a cigarette in his mouth. What brought you to T-18? We have agreed that if you want to see the chief, your chief must also come, otherwise there will be no discussion. Huo Yangxing's face was expressionless. I'm here to go through the formalities and join T-18. This is the invitation letter your people gave me. The surrounding area suddenly became quiet. With a pop sound, the cigarette from Roland's mouth fell out. Several senior investigators were stunned. Huo Yangxing was in the third-in-command position, so why did he suddenly want to join T-18? Roland received the invitation letter in a daze, and after confirming that it was indeed from the T-18 official, he fell into a long-lasting shock. Who the hum is so capable that they kidnapped Huo Yangxing? Yu Jian's disguise skills were so superb that Roland did not recognize Sci-fucking. He hooked Huo Yangxing's shoulder. Come on, brother, come this way. In order to prevent you from being a spy sent by Ling, you have to pass the polygraph test. Huo Yangxing hummed lightly and stepped forward. After the 2 left, Sci-fucking pressed the brim of his hat, clicked a few times on his phone, and successfully hacked T-18's system. After all, she built this system, and she clearly knows where the loopholes in the system are. Good daughter, do you remember where Dad put the manuscript? Sci-fucking knelt down and took Xiaobai out of his pocket. Go and bring the manuscript to Dad. I'll reward you with 3 gold bricks. Xiaobai was drowsy until his ears accurately caught the word gold bricks. His eyes lit up and he jumped out with a swish at an extremely fast speed. There are search teams stationed everywhere in the T-18 headquarters. In addition, there are also spies from other forces. One of the investigators only felt a blur in front of his eyes, as if something white flashed past. His nerves immediately tensed up, he rubbed his eyes and looked over, but found that he saw nothing, and muttered. As an auspicious beast, Xiaobai's speed was naturally excellent. In less than 2 minutes, he ran out with a stack of manuscripts in his mouth. Sci-fucking immediately stuffed Xiaobai and the information into his clothes, stood up straight, and perfectly acted as a follower. Xiaobai rubbed her palm in his pocket and let out a few low grievances. I'll be back. Sci-fucking's eyes moved and he said word by word, I promise. After waiting for a while, Huo Yangxing followed Roland out. Si nodded slightly to him. Brother Huo, welcome to join T18. Roland's expression was very happy. I am happy for you that you can turn from darkness to light. Huo Yangxing's face turned dark. What and what? He didn't want to stay here any longer and would leave soon. After Roland saw him off, he dialed Tan Jingmo's mobile phone number with great excitement. Sir, we sent it. Do you know Huo Yangxing, right? In the Huo family, someone actually poached Ling's corner and gave him to him. We got our T18 here. Tan Jingmo raised eyebrows and said in a low voice with a smile, oh. I asked, but he didn't say who it was, he just said it was a honey trap. Roland was very sorry. Oh, sir, he must not go to the intelligence team. What if he falls into the honey trap again and sells us? Tan Jingmo. He probably knew who did it. Except for the third child, no one would take advantage of beauty so openly. Tan Jingmo pondered for a moment and said, I can't leave Free Continent. Please contact your commander to find out where she is. Roland agreed, but then made a grimace. Sir's disguise skills are so superb, I wouldn't be able to recognize her even if she stood in front of me. Tan Jingmo took a deep breath and felt deeply that his subordinates were extremely stupid. He said, follow that person from the Huo family. Roland's expression brightened. Sir, you are so smart. Yes, why didn't he think of it? Yet Tan Jingmo pinched his eyebrows and said calmly, then look to see if there are other women around her. When he said this, his heart was beating violently. Roland didn't know why, but he still agreed. Here, Si and Huo Yangxing were about to leave the city. Suddenly there was a rapid sound of horse hooves, and a row of cavalry was surrounded in front. Si eyes narrowed. The cavalry of the Eternal Academy. There is an order from above, but anyone holding a temporary pass must go through an inspection before they can leave the city. The cavalry commander took out an inspection order and said, please, this lady, please come with us. Huo Yangxing said coldly, I am leaving the city with my entourage, and you want to stop me. It turns out to be Mr. Huo. The cavalry commander's expression changed, and his attitude immediately became respectful. Mr. Huo, please forgive me. There have been outsiders causing turmoil in recent times, so we have been stricter in our investigation. Since it's Mr. Huo, it's natural that we're the one who's being rude. Mr. Huo, please. The other cavalry quickly gave way. The two left the city smoothly. Si eyes were sharper. Are you from the Huo family? She vaguely guessed that Huo Yangxing was related to the Huo family in Free Continent, but she didn't expect that he was actually a direct member of the family. Yes. Huo Yangxing frowned. Does your sister also have requirements for family status? Si. After a few seconds, she spoke slowly, why don't you go to the hospital and have your brain checked first? Huo Yangxing realized that he paid too much attention to Yu Jian, so he added, there is nothing good about the Huo family. Si said perfunctorily, yes, yes, yes. One of the four major families in Free Continent, there is indeed nothing good about it. Let's go. Huo Yangxing glanced at the time, Shi Yan will kill me if I don't go back. After all, a large part of his financial support comes from Yu Zian. Even brothers have to bow their heads. The two of them left Central City smoothly, and Si didn't relax completely until they got on the plane and flew out of Free Continent's airspace. She blinked, do you want to chase my sister? Huo Yangxing gritted his teeth, do you know that she slept with me? It turns out that she doesn't remember it, so I am the victim, okay. Si stopped teasing him, and instead touched his chin thoughtfully, although my sister does have prosopagnosia, she is a spiritual evolver. How could she not remember such a thing? Huo Yangxing's expression changed slightly. Did someone erase Tsukimi's memory? Tsukimi is an S-level spiritual evolver. Who has this ability? Huo Yangxing's eyes turned cold, I'm going to check, you guys protect yourselves. The other side. Western Continent, LN Headquarters. Zhejiangjiao, as a brand without any international reputation, openly competes with LN. This actress from the Daxia Empire is really loud. She even said that she is the original vice president of LN. Shook his head and said with a smile, when you became famous in the design world, Latson, I'm afraid she didn't know where she was. Playing in the mud. Latson emerged in the design world 8 years ago. How old was Si fucking at that time? She has no reputation at all in the Daxia Empire, so how could Latson copy her design? Latson pushed up his glasses and said calmly, it's understandable for young people to want to take a shortcut to success. It's just that I shouldn't and should not plagiarize it on his head. This Zhejiangjiao is indeed very powerful and coming in force, the vice president added. In addition to the plagiarists, there should still be a few good designers. When the time comes, when Zhejiangjiao's reputation becomes notorious, we can poach their designers at high prices. Come over. The assistant smiled, the vice president is wise. Without LN doing anything else, 11 Zhejiangjiao was already dead. The vice president asked Latson curiously, who reported it to you? Latson shrugged, he is also from Daxia, but he is not signed. The vice president nodded, it seems that this Si fucking has made many enemies in the Daxia Empire. They fight among themselves and don't care about our affairs. Latson looked indifferent and continued to draw. Mr. Latson. Something happened. At this moment, the public relations manager hurried over and said anxiously, 11 Zhejiangjiao asked you to come out and prove it. You want me to come out and prove it? Latson laughed. What should I prove? They still haven't apologized. Are they crazy? The public relations manager's face turned red. Mr. Latson, the other party brought out earlier evidence, saying that you plagiarized their work. We have seen it. The evidence is conclusive. There is no way to refute it at all. That's why let me ask you what to do. Latson's expression changed. This is impossible. There are indeed many references to his designs, but no matter how bad it is, he will not copy someone who has no reputation. But this is indeed the case. 10 minutes ago, a new Weibo post exploded into hot searches, and it has reached the #1 spot on the internet. Hashtag Zhejiang published the manuscript of Si fucking hashtag. Latson stared at the fresh entries, unable to believe his eyes. At V, this is Teacher C's draft. It was drawn 8 years ago. It is signed and dated. Our company hereby asks Mr. Latson 3 questions for Teacher Si. 1. Mr. Latson's manuscript was published 2 years ago. How did Mr. Si travel back in time and plagiarize your design? 2nd, you only copied half of the design drawing, and you didn't copy it all. However, you were very good at copying. You specifically copied out Teacher C's name. When you copied these lines, you didn't think that these lines could be connected to form a design. Chinese name? Instead, the plagiarists jumped out and slapped them down. Where did you get your face from? 3rd, you look down on Daxia culture, and you have never been to Daxia, but there are Daxia embroideries on the design. Did you get the inspiration from a dream? Please answer Mr. Latson to the citizens of the world. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 578. Attached are 2 pictures below. One is Latson's design sketch, with 2 words outlined in pen. Support Cheng. On the other side is Si fucking's manuscript, which completes the remaining parts, making the entire design more smooth and perfect. Even if the sketch can be faked, the lines cannot be faked. Latson had no way of explaining why his design included Si fucking's name. Netizens were also shocked. Damn, what a big flip, it turned out that Latson plagiarized Si fucking. My grandma can embroider, and I have learned embroidery stitches. There are many stitches that even the indigenous people of Daxia cannot do. How does Latson know so much? Otherwise, start a video tutorial to teach us. It's too far-fetched. Latson is so famous, how could he copy Sci-Fucking's work? I don't believe it anyway. Lick Latson like this, quit Daxia. Doesn't anyone care that this design drawing was drawn by Sci-Fucking 8 years ago? What's going on? Vice President LN was shocked and angry. Isn't this your design? Why does she have the original in her hand? Latson was also sweating profusely and was confused. This is impossible. I don't know her at all. If it hadn't been for a reporting letter sent to his private mailbox, he would never have interacted with Sci-Fucking. He didn't take Sci-Fucking seriously, he just wanted to use this incident to increase the popularity. After all, he lacked inspiration and had not produced a new work for half a year. Think about it carefully. LN Vice President was so anxious that he yelled, "Where did you copy it from?" Latson racked his brains to think. Suddenly, he didn't know what he thought of. He suddenly lost all his strength and fell to the ground suddenly. His face was pale and his body was shaking. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. He finally remembered that these design drawings were accidentally seen when he went to LAN for an interview 8 years ago. At that time, he was so shocked that he quickly memorized several of the design drawings. He waited for 6 full years and found that LAN had not made these pictures public, so he safely handed them over to LN for production. The designs with too many Daxia elements were discarded, but he still posted them online. Time passed so long that Latson truly forgot that he had copied these. But he copied LAN, how could it be Sci-Fucking? Latson was panicked and puzzled at the same time. Vice President, the public relations manager shouted again, Zhejiangjiao is a brand owned by LAN. LAN has also spoken out. The vice president's expression changed again. LAN? Let me see. At LAN V, Zhejiangjiao is a brand under LAN. It was originally planned to be officially announced at this year's international show, but unexpectedly, a villain caused trouble. LAN and Mr. Gu severely condemned the behavior of LN and Latson Chirov, and will take legal channels. The vice president's eyes darkened. Isn't Zhejiangjiao just a very niche domestic product from Daxia? Latson's face turned even paler. Even if he was really plagiarized, if he knew that Zhejiangjiao was affiliated with LAN, he would not directly accuse the other party of plagiarism in front of the public. When it comes to ready-to-wear design, LAN says he is second, but no one dares to say he is first. Especially God's right hand holds up half of Ian's sky. There is no brand that can compare with LAN, and even 10 LNS are not enough. I was thinking that Kinking's wife had already gathered the 3 giants of Oracle, RM, and Yun's Hang, and the only thing missing was LAN. So LAN was the first one? What else can I say besides saying that Sci-Fucking is awesome? Please, can anyone tell me why a certain female star has so many? While the muses were in high spirits and running around to tell each other, they were also very broken. They had to be wary of the ready-to-wear design company pulling Sci-Fucking out of the business. Passers-by only saw that they were happy as fans, and no one could ever understand their difficulties. Sci-Fucking didn't know the despair of the muses. She was talking to Gu Wenzu on the phone. Teacher, I'm fine. The matter has been resolved, but how did he plagiarize? Gu Wenzu frowned and said, you came to deliver the manuscript, and Latson also happened to come to LAN for an interview. It was probably at that time that I was negligent and let him see your drafts. Teacher, it has nothing to do with you. Sci-Fucking narrowed his eyes. It seems he must have copied a lot of pictures. Not bad. Gu Wenzu's voice deepened. I'll send you all his design drawings over the past few years. You can take a look. After receiving the design drawings, Sci-Fucking quickly compared them and discovered that Latson copied 5 design drawings, all of which were her unpublished drafts. But luckily she has backups. The cell phone rang again, and Sci-Fucking picked it up. Brother Ninth. His voice was unhurried. Do you need help? No need, I can handle it. Sci-Fucking's tone became cheerful. We can make an appointment for dinner. Hearing this, Zion chuckled, okay, I'll pick you up later. Sister Sang Si stood up and opened the door to the lounge, convene a press conference. Director, please contact IFTV. I only need 5 minutes. Sang Yanking and Chu Lingyun didn't ask why and took action immediately. Soon, the invited media came to the light crew and turned on their cameras for live broadcast. Si is their performance appraisal, and they are eager to make the press conference as long as possible. Hello everyone, I'm Si smiled at the camera, I'm sorry for taking up everyone's time. I'm very grateful to Mr. Latson for letting me find out that he copied the design drawings I used to draw and play with when I was a child. And found that Mr. Latson had copied more than one copy. My name comes from helping the building to fall. Why did Mr. Latson design these 2 words? The camera moved aside, and a new comparison chart appeared on the computer screen. Each picture also has the word supporting in it. Some entertainment reporters exclaimed and whispered to each other. I have asked Mr. Latson 3 times before, and I have a 4th question here. Si clasped his hands, his eyebrows calm and indifferent from beginning to end. Have you been plagiarizing for too long and not been discovered, so you already think these designs are your own? The short 5-minute press conference directly hit Latson to the bottom. The 5 pictures Si took out were all Latson's famous works. A complete sensation in the entire fashion design world. No one thought that things would reach this point. Good guy, Latson is really dedicated enough. He caught Ching and copied so many sheep. It's so funny that the plagiarist jumped out to accuse the original author. It's the biggest joke of the year. Congratulations to Si for adding another name on his way to clean up the entertainment industry. Thank you Mr. Latson for your selfless dedication. With the evidence in front, any public relations tactics used by LN will no longer work. What's more, they were offending Chu Lingyun and Lan, so there was absolutely no room for maneuver. LN immediately announced the dismissal of Latson and apologized to the public in order to clear up the relationship and stabilize the shaky stock. Plagiarism is a taboo in the design world. Latson will not be hired by any design company in the future and will also face huge compensation, which is 10 times his deposit. He finally panicked. Latson even began to wonder if the email was a deliberate attempt to lure him in. Otherwise, how could he have ended up in this situation? In anger, he used all the curse words in his life and responded to the sender. If the sender's IP address had not been encrypted, he would definitely not let this person go. Desperate, Latson had no choice but to go to Ian's headquarters and plead with Lan to withdraw the lawsuit. Gu Wenzu happened to come out of the elevator. He was about to fly to the Daxia Empire to visit Si class. As for Chu Lingyun, this idiot, he didn't want to see him at all. It's just no-brainer. Mr. Ancient, Latson's eyes lit up. He hurriedly called to Gu Wenzu, with a pleading look on his face and a very low posture. For the sake of what you have pointed out to me, you can be regarded as half of me, teacher. Please stop worrying about it, okay? I was wrong about this, and I apologize. I didn't mean to plagiarize. Maybe I was too impressed when I saw these design drawings, so I didn't know I quoted them when I drew them. It was really not intentional. I just learned from it. Yes, learned from it. As long as you are willing to forgive me, I am willing to work for Lan without wages. Si can only be regarded as Ian's spokesperson. As long as Lan doesn't care, Si can't make any trouble. Just a spokesperson, Gu Wenzu saw Latson's thoughts. He stopped and sneered, you dare to copy the design drawings of God's right hand. Do you think this matter is over? The plagiarism has reached his precious apprentice, and it's not over. Regarding the nickname of God's right hand. Fans, so domineering and handsome. Gu Wenzu, my disciple's name is good. Ching Ching, stupid X in the 2nd grade. See you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 579. He didn't go to Lead Sun directly, and Lead Sun even dared to come to him directly, so don't blame him for being rude. Boom, as if there was a huge thunder blasting in his ear, and Lead Sun's mind became blank. 8 years have passed, and he has long forgotten how he plagiarized. But he didn't know that at that time, the right hand of God had already become famous. This is Yunlin's royal designer. Latsun's face was pale. What he copied turned out to be the right hand of God. No, the most important thing is that Sci-fi, who was only in his early 10 years 8 years ago, was the most talented designer after Gu Wenzu. Lead Sun lost all his strength. He took a few steps back and fell to the ground, his eyes blank and numb. Gu Wenzu's face was full of anger. He turned his head and said to the secretary beside him, "The right hand of God is Ian's core bone." He copied many of her design drawings. Although it was only a draft, it also brought fame and wealth. The loss, the amount involved is too large, it must be dealt with immediately. The secretary responded and immediately called security and Ian's legal team. Lead Sun was taken directly from Ian's headquarters. No matter how much he begged, it was useless. The death of a top designer just made the whole network feel a little embarrassed. But more attention was focused on Sci-fi. I suddenly found a blind spot. Do you still remember the dance costumes that Xiaoyu wore in youth last year? It must have been designed by Sci-fi. Sci-fi's strength interprets what it means to have something happen to her personally. Stop talking, I'm going to pay attention to Sci-fi, just because she knows so much, I'm a fan. Mooses. When you are really a fan, you will know how heart-wrenching it is. Light crew. During the break, Sci-fi was also designing clothes at will. For her, what she can do, there is no need to spend more money on other people. Gu Wenzu arrived at the crew under the pickup and drop off of Chu Lingyun. He didn't want to say anything to Chu Lingyun at all, so he found Sci-fi and shut Chu Lingyun out by the way. Sci-fi raised his eyebrows. "Teacher, your legs and feet have been pretty good recently." "It's good." Gu Wenzu pushed his glasses. "I've been drinking the tea you gave me, and my body has become more active." Sci-fi nodded. "Then I'll prepare some more for you when you leave." The master and apprentice chatted a few more words, and Gu Wenzu went out. Looking at Chu Lingyun who had been waiting for him, Gu Wenzu couldn't bear it, and finally spoke up, "Do you feel familiar somewhere?" "Familiar?" Chu Lingyun was taken aback. "What place are you referring to?" Gu Wenzu endured it. "Did you find your old feelings back when you were filming? Do you think you and the lead actors work well together?" "Okay, of course." Chu Lingyun was quite happy. "She is more diligent than Alan." Gu Wenzu was instantly furious. "Go away. Go to the hospital and take a look at your brain." I knew earlier that when he accepted an apprentice, he should have borrowed a set of IQ testing instruments to test his apprentice's IQ. Chu Lingyun was very confused, but he didn't dare to refute Gu Wenzu's words. He could only sit in front of the camera and concentrate on watching the filmed clips repeatedly, trying to reduce his sense of existence. Shang Lu walked into the lounge. "Miss S.I., I found it," he said. "Someone sent an email to Lead Sun, and the IP address was encrypted, but it was just a very simple method. I followed the method you taught me and found the sender's real address and information very easily." Sci-fi took it and raised his eyebrows when he saw Feng Ziyi's name. "So that's it, go and ask me for a leave, let's take someone and go to Nanzhou." Shang Lu nodded and went out to ask Chu Lingyun for leave. Chu Lingyun didn't really want to let go. But Sci-fi has already completed the shooting volume in the next 3 days, and has used the word volume to the extreme. He doesn't seem to have any reason not to approve fakes. Many actors are rolling the show, but Sci-fi is more active than the director. Chu Lingyun was very tired and asked Si fucking to leave, and then he was scolded by Gu Wenzu before he could sit in the hot chair. Southern State. Fengcheng is the capital city of Nanzhou and the domain of the Feng family. After Feng Zhiyi's family of three was ordered to be expelled from Fengcheng by the first elder of the Feng family, they only had a little savings and could only continue to live in a small coastal town. The climate and conditions of the small town are good, but it is far from comparable to a metropolis like the Windy City. Inside the house, Feng Zhiyi's physical fitness was indeed very good. After 2 or 3 days of rest, he was able to get out of bed. She turned on the computer habitually, and saw the email that Lead Sun replied first. Feng Zhiyi opened it. She thought that it was Lead Sun who wrote a letter to thank her, and she felt a lot of joy. But she just looked at one line, and her face changed instantly. Latson scolded her badly, and even scolded her whether she was in a group with Si fucking, deliberately fishing, and wanted him to ruin his reputation and be expelled from the international design community. For a moment, Feng Zhiyi couldn't react to what Lead Sun meant. Her hands trembled and she immediately logged into Weibo. The most searched entry on Weibo has long since changed. Hashtag Si fucking, genius designer hashtag. Hashtag Lead Sun plagiarism hashtag. Hashtag almighty goddess hashtag. Feng Zhiyi couldn't believe these entries one after another. She widened her eyes and stared at the freshly released news, her whole body shaking. How can that be? She doesn't believe it. No matter how stupid Lead Sun was, he couldn't be stupid enough to copy Si fucking's blueprints. But the fact is in front of you, Lead Sun is the real plagiarism, and he plagiarized more than one design. Feng Zhiyi's complexion gradually turned pale. She even helped Si fucking gain more popularity unintentionally. Not only did she fail to get her to be shouted by everyone in the entertainment circle, but she was conferred a god again. Human time and energy are limited. Where did Si fucking learn these things? Can you still learn? Feng Zhiyi stared blankly at the computer screen, his self-confidence was completely destroyed. She will, and Si fucking will. Si fucking will, she doesn't even know the basics. Yi, MRS Feng came back from the outside in a panic. Yi, have you read the news? Si fucking is the original. Did your plan work? Feng Zhiyi was dumbfounded, unable to utter a word. After a long time, she regained consciousness, her eyes were red. I still have a chance, still. She immediately dug out Zero's communication method from the memo on her phone, tapping her trembling fingers on the keyboard. Dear sir, you have been out on assignments all the time, but you don't know that the woman you treat with all your heart still raises a little white face. This little white face is called Yu Zion, a cripple with disabled legs. Your matter, I hope you can thoroughly investigate this matter. After Feng Zhiyi finished sending this email, he leaned back on the chair limply, his facial muscles twitching. Si fucking took care of Yu Zion, she admitted it herself, and she couldn't fake it. Feng Zhiyi didn't believe that his boss fucking could turn defeat into victory in this matter. She closed her eyes. Mom, I'm tired, I didn't check it out, I'll pay more attention in the future. Boom. The door was kicked open. Father Feng was thrown to the ground. MRS Feng was startled and rushed forward. Husband. Feng Zhiyi's eyes sharpened. Who? She looked out the door suddenly, and her whole body froze. If you have something to say, tell me directly in front of me, okay? Si fucking clapped his hands and walked in unhurriedly. What's the use of talking behind your back? I can't hear it. Come on, tell me, how do you plan to arrange me? Feng Zhiyi let out a scream and stepped back suddenly. What do you want to do? The injury is not completely healed, and her skills are not flexible. Even if she recovers, she is not Si fucking's opponent. How did Si fucking find her? Isn't that the email you sent to Lead Sun? Si fucking, I just sent another one? You want my life so much? Feng Zhiyi blurted out, you are talking nonsense. I just can't stand the plagiarism incident in the design world. In the end, this incident did not affect you, but increased your popularity. When did I want your life? Of course you thought about it. I fucking smiled slightly, but you are incompetent, but I do thank you very much for helping me find out the plagiarism. The bigger the fame, the more fans, and her luck is getting bigger and bigger. The fig leaf was torn apart, leaving no room at all. Feng Ziyi squeezed his fingers tightly and pinched his nails into his palm. She yelled hysterically, "Yes, I just want you to die. If you die, there won't be so many things. You caused me to be expelled from T18 and from the Feng family. Are you satisfied? All of these were indirectly caused by Si fucking." She hated Si Fu deeply. Shang Lu was shocked by Feng Ziyi's shamelessness. "Isn't this all your own fault? Miss Si ignored you from the beginning. The first few times she was just defensive. Everything was because of you being aggressive. You are so shameless." Feng Ziyi was scolded with flushed face, and still said firmly, "I made no mistake, I just wrote an email, and you are also qualified to do something to me." "Really?" Si fucking snapped his fingers lazily. "Shang Lu, invite the three of you to have tea." 6 young men in uniform walked in and quickly controlled Feng Ziyi and the three of them. Feng Ziyi couldn't believe it. "You dare to arrest me? What right do you have to arrest me? She didn't break the law." Si fucking didn't want to talk nonsense with her, so he took a photo of an arrest warrant. On the side of Feng Ziyi's face, his heart was like an ant, and his voice trembled. "You have betrayed him and you still use his hands, how can you have a face? Zero does have this right. She is now only praying that the officer of Zero can see her email as soon as possible and see Si fucking's true face." "Ah," Si fucking paused, "you mean Zero? But this is an arrest warrant issued by T18, don't you recognize the sign?" Saying that, she put the arrest warrant in front of Feng Ziyi very thoughtfully. "Zhang Ziyi is here. Good morning." After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 580. In the lower left corner of the arrest warrant is a red seal engraved with the words T18 and some kind of ancient and elegant pattern. Feng Ziyi was even more incredible. "Has he negotiated with T18 for you again? How much does Ling have to pay to get T18 to proactively issue an arrest warrant? What are you trying to figure out?" Feng Ziyi had to admit that the emotion called jealousy completely ate away at her heart and lungs, leaving her breathless. Shang Lu couldn't listen anymore and cursed directly. "Idiot, Miss Si is the investigator of T18. Why can't they get an arrest warrant? It's because you only want to rely on men that you think so dirty of others." Feng Ziyi raised his head suddenly. Si fucking's expression was calm, and he showed no sarcasm from beginning to end, let alone any pride or self-esteem. This further stimulated Feng Ziyi's unbalanced heart, and she lost her voice and said, "Impossible. I have never seen you at all." As one of the two major intelligence organizations, T18's assessment is very strict, especially in terms of physical strength, so the ratio of men to women is extremely imbalanced. This year, the Daxia branch has recruited a total of 20 investigators, and only one is a woman. If Si fucking was the investigator of the T18 Daxia branch, how could she not have any impression? "Oh," Si fucking finally became more interested, "didn't you only go to the Daxia branch? How did you meet me?" Feng Ziyi's eyes trembled, leaving only disbelief. You. What she heard next shattered what little hope she had left. The girl's voice was calm. "When you are promoted to a 4th-level investigator, you may be able to meet me at the headquarters to observe your assessment. It's a pity that you don't value yourself and are deceived by others. Otherwise, with your ability, you will be able to enter the headquarters sooner or later." "I'm sorry." With a buzz sound, Feng Ziyi's brain was drained. All her conjectures were far less impactful than hearing Si fucking admitted personally. Si fucking is the investigator of Free Continent headquarters. Mrs. Feng and Father Feng also understood, and their faces turned pale. So, Si fucking is actually Feng Ziyi's boss. What on earth is Feng Ziyi doing? Feng Ziyi was also asking himself the same question. Her heart trembled when she thought that from the very beginning, when she went to Si fucking and asked Si fucking to withdraw from the competition with her, to the subsequent discussions in military training, she had been treated as a joke. Why didn't you say it? Why? Feng Ziyi's eyes turned red. Do you think I'm funny? You just want to see my jokes, right? If Si fucking had revealed her identity as a headquarters investigator early on, how could she have done such a thing? No matter how jealous she was, she would only obey Si fucking's orders with all her heart. Si fucking was clearly treating her like a monkey. Shang Lu smiled coldly. I have seen many people like you with Miss Si. Miss Si treats people like you who follow the trend. If you don't try to use your power and background to pressure others, how can you possibly succeed? You deserve it, you'll get it right every time you touch it. Shang Lu snorted. Miss Si, where are you taking her? Si fucking thought for a while. Give me an assistant. She has been relatively free recently. Phytolika nodded and rubbed his hands happily. Miss Si said that she would send him a T-18 invitation letter when the mission was completed. Let those people in the Thousand Army Alliance be jealous, he is going to soar into the sky. Feng Ziyi was taken to the Daxia T-18 branch. In addition, Si fucking also found out through the internet that Feng Ziyi acted with personal feelings several times when he was on duty at T-18. One of them even resulted in the casualties of 2 innocent residents. Si fucking organized the information and asked Yu Jian to notify the headquarters to immediately rectify the 3 branches of T-18. Investigators with bad character must be removed immediately, no matter how capable they are. Otherwise, if things go on like this, the consequences will be disastrous. Brother Ninth, do you want to give your chief some advice? Si fucking waved his hand lazily. It's hard for Zero's headquarters to manage all branch personnel, right? Yu Xian's eyebrows moved. Well, the proposal is very good, I will report it. Si fucking held the Heart Sutra of Love in her bag and looked at the man who was sitting still. You go out, I want to read and study. How can she study while he is sitting here? What are you reading? Yu Xian said, and said slowly, if you don't understand something, I can help. Nothing. Si fucking pushed him and quickly pushed him out of the door. Don't peek into girls' privacy. Men will only affect the speed of her learning. Before Yu Xian said anything, the door was closed with a bang. He pressed his hand against the door and sighed in amusement. He has quite a temper and is quite cute. Feng San watched the whole process of how Yu Xian was kicked out by Si fucking. He asked cautiously, Brother Ju, do you need to prepare any gifts for Miss Si so that you can go in? Yu Xian glanced at him indifferently, her eyes hard to distinguish and filled with deep emotions. Feng San immediately said, I'm going to discuss with Phytophaga. When gods are fighting, it would be better for him, a mortal, to run away as quickly as possible. Here, Yu Jian came to the T-18 Daxia branch and was responsible for taking over the follow-up task of interrogating Feng Ziyi. Huo Yangxing approached her. Tsukimi was quite surprised. Some time ago, Huo Yangxing could be said to have been following her inseparably, but he disappeared in the past 2 days, and he didn't know where he went. Your sister should have told you that someone deleted your memory. Huo Yangxing got straight to the point. It's been 4 years since we infiltrated that organization. Do you have any candidates? Tsukimi's expression froze. She slowly pressed her temples and shook her head, no. At this point in time, she didn't want to think about it. At that time, Si fucking had just died in the explosion, and she had to go on a mission to protect the safety of residents. If she hadn't met Huo Yangxing, Yu Jian wouldn't have noticed that her memory had been erased. Huo Yangxing slowly exhaled. What he was most concerned about at the moment was not that Yu Jian had forgotten the past with him, but what he was worried about was her nervous system. Although spiritual evolvers are powerful and can directly invade other people's brain waves and even read minds, they are also more likely to go berserk and collapse than other evolvers. I'm going back to Free Continent. I feel relieved that Yan Yan will protect you, Huo Yangxing said. Don't worry, I will definitely find out. Tsukimi looked at him with a slightly complicated expression. She is not very concerned about the relationship between men and women. For her, feelings are a taboo and will only become her weakness. Her mother died from this weakness. Unexpectedly, Huo Yan Guild would investigate such a difficult matter for her. Yu Jian was silent for a moment and then said proactively, I'll take you out. Go early and come back early. The Huo family is one of the 4 major families in Free Continent. It is indeed more convenient for Huo Yangxing to do business in Free Continent. Huo Yangxing paused and whispered, okay. Watching him board the plane, Yu Jian paused for a while and turned back. A voice stopped her in surprise. Sir. When Yu Jian turned around, she saw Roland hiding in the corner, his beard covered with green leaves. He is playing a tree. Seeing her looking over, Roland shook his beard excitedly. Sir, I finally found you. Is Chief Margaret with you? Tsukimi ignored him and walked straight into the interrogation room. Feng Ziyi was still immersed in the huge and painful blow, and he was not quite sober yet. When she saw Roland and Yu Jian, she finally came back to her senses. She had met Yu Jian, who was Sci-fi's assistant. But now, Roland is the Deputy Minister of Intelligence, a position below 3 people and above 10,000 people. Why is fucking's assistant in the Guan Si called Sir? Feng Ziyi's eyes couldn't move anymore, and his brain was shocked again. Sir. Sir, Roland followed in, I know it's you, sir. Yu Jian finally stopped and crossed his arms. How did you recognize him? Why didn't she remember that Roland had such a brain? The chief told me that I could follow that guy from the Huo family. Roland rubbed his hands, then I ran here non-stop. Hey, I met you, sir. If he were to look for it himself, he would not be able to find it for years and years. Tsukimi clicked his tongue. It turned out to be the second child's fault. Roland blamed himself very much. Sir, I have really suffered you for using a honey trap. Sir, if you hadn't been willing, tell the brothers and kill the guy named Huo. Yu Jian glanced at him and chuckled, okay, be serious. Roland immediately stood up and straightened his body. Yes, sir. Fortunately, Huo Yangxing joined T18. If their leader was kidnapped to zero, there would be nowhere to cry. Now that she was recognized, Yu Jian had no need to hide. She directly raised her hand to remove all the disguise from her face. The next moment, a face that was too perfect was completely exposed to the line of sight. The woman's figure is enchanting, and her every smile is a real enchantress who has brought disaster to the country. Roland thought to himself, no wonder that boy Huo Yangxing, who was from the Huo family, could fall directly into the trap. With the methods of their chief, who can resist? Huo Yangxing lost well. Feng Ziyi's thoughts had completely gone blank, her body was stiff and her whole body was numb. She has never been to T18 headquarters, nor has she communicated with any senior executives. The last time Yukishin asked her to contact the T18 branch of the Western continent, she actually lied. It's not that she doesn't help Yukishin, it's because her position in T18 is not enough to directly contact other branches. Of course, Feng Ziyi would not show it directly, but would put his attitude at the highest level to let Yukishin know that he was too high to reach. She succeeded. But the arrival of Si made her lose face. However, no matter how bad things go, Feng Ziyi will never fail to hear about the reputation of the T18 Big Three. She stared intently at the woman with a charming and elegant smile in front of her. Fear strangled her heart like a cold snake, leaving her completely breathless. Night Witch. The famous female agent with 1,000 faces. Please give me a monthly pass. See you tomorrow.